and welcome to this FastChat video interview with ST Engineering iDirect. I'm Paula Gilbert, the editor of Connecting Africa, and joining me today is Semin Hassanaly, who is the head of Cellular, Backhaul and Trunking at ST Engineering iDirect. And today we're going to be talking a bit about satellite-based networks in Africa. So welcome, Semin. It's great to have you with me.
Thank you. Same here. Thanks for the opportunity.
So in the minds of MNOs, has the perception of using satellites changed over the years?
I would say so, yes. Like satellite was perceived by mobile operators as a slow, expensive, and cumbersome solution. And the market data in the OMDR reports underlines that the satellite was only able to capture a small percent of the BTS base station connectivity in the past. But now the perception for satellite has changed, I think. You combine the rapid drop in space segment prices, the arrival of high throughput satellites with advanced and very highly capable ground equipment, and also the arrival of new LEO and MEO constellations, and then the economics of satellites become right. And mobile operators can now leverage like satellite economically to provide what they used to provide, but in an economic way this time, a much more economic way, quick to market coverage to establish communication in difficult or hard to reach areas, and for fiber backup or for emergency response. And also I would say that increasingly, especially in Africa, satellite is being used to provide ultra-rural connectivity to ultra-rural communities with essential voice and data services. And mobile communications also help increase the GDP a little bit. So, and they enable applications just like mobile money, which again is critical in Africa. And where people in Africa, people do not have bank accounts often. And mobile money can represent up to 30% of mobile operators' revenue. So that bears significant value.
Okay, and then what else do you think MNOs should consider, when it comes to bringing down the costs for rollouts, particularly in rural areas?
Mm-hmm. I think they should look for efficiency, performance, flexibility, and scalability. They need a reliable service they can use to easily extend connectivity to rural sites and integrate seamlessly within the terrestrial network. Like cost efficiencies are key to connect these lower ARPU regions. And these cost efficiency come from high performance platforms and leveraging cost-effective frequency bands like KU and Ka. But at the same time, providing very high quality service, because quality of service is really key for mobile operators. And in addition to these parameters, these platforms also need to meet the scale requirements, because in ultra-rural environment, this can be very large network, and you need to support the throughput demands of high-speed trunking as well, aside of the ultra-rural deployments. Now, for CapEx considerations, I think the terminals are also key for total cost of ownership for rural deployments. They must be at the right price point for the required throughput, but you also need to have a wide enough range of terminals to cover all current and future needs as well. In fact, we commissioned a white paper with NSR, which demonstrates that you can build a solid business case in ultra-rural through the right efficiencies and infrastructure. So that was also emphasized in the TIP project with Facebook, which additionally small cells and Open RAN were strong contributors to ultra-rural deployments.
Okay, and then what would your predictions be, moving from 2G into 3G and 4G and eventually 5G in Africa?
You can still see a lot of 2G in Africa. In sub-Saharan Africa, where the mobile deployment is higher than West Africa, for example, 4G coverage is less than 50%. And you see increasing deployments of 4G, though, in rural areas in West Africa, leapfrogging 3G when the operator has the 4G license, because that is quite expensive. And also in East Africa, we see that happening as well. So, but the cost of the license, the cost of devices, the cost of the data plan, and the available subsidies are still on the way for a shift to 4G. But these days we're seeing interesting things happening, especially where you see the delivery of much more affordable smartphones in Africa. So, and mobile money, for example, IoT or private networks are very strong drivers, which will accelerate the 4G uptake in my mind, and also make an impact on 5G on the long run.
So what kind of role do you think satellite will play in 5G then? How will mobile operators be able to leverage satellite to enable them, into this 5G future?
So as I said, like if we take Africa in a global context, 4G has still limited coverage, and new applications are emerging though, and they have a very good fit with the African market. And this can be IoT for precision farming, telemedicine, or private networks for industries. And we're also seeing a rising number of startups in Africa, in fintech especially, and they're unicorns. Like they're meant to bring more than $1 billion. Their market value is more than $1 billion. So the demand for this application will drive the requirements for advanced technologies and will help leapfrog the technology gap. And mobile operators are currently expanding their applications portfolio, and they will need satellites to increase the reach and reliability of the services. And as well leveraging NEO, LEO, MEO, and HEO constellations for increased coverage and performance. So satellite will work hand in hand with the terrestrial network and will help offload network congestion, for example. It will help enhance user experience, provide cost-effective OTT over-the-top application distribution, for example, by using multicasting. So these are a few of the use cases. And that's why at the ST Engineering, for example, we were involved in the 5G 3GPP standards. We are working on 5G solutions, and we have been very active in so many proof of concepts and research projects.
So as networks are evolving towards automation, orchestration, and virtualization, how do you see the impact of these technologies, on satellite-based networks?
So satellite-based networks, they're becoming an interesting part of the overall communication network. They provide seamless connectivity for all walks of life. And the satellite world is therefore adopting automation and virtualization, all those things that you mentioned. That makes ultimately the networks very dynamic. They make them cost optimized and really tailors to applications. And satellite is therefore providing services where needed and when needed, and complementing the terrestrial offering that way. So these technologies, along with edge computing, they're really making satellite mainstream in the overall communication landscape. And they're the ones which will help us forget the older, what I mentioned earlier, costly and cumbersome solutions. So yes, these technologies have a huge impact on satellite-based network.
Okay, well, I'm afraid we're out of time, but it was so great to hear your thoughts on all of this. So thanks, Semir.
Thank you. So I hope that really provided a good overview of the mobile landscape and the satellite world, what the future will look like for them. And I thank you for these great questions.